Hey, check out these two Adirondack chairs. I found them in the alley last week. Can you imagine somebody throwing these out? They're pretty valuable. They're probably one of the better finds I picked out of the alley this year. But these aren't the chairs I want to talk about. It's this one here. This is an antique architect's chair. So I have a question for you. When it comes to old furniture, how do you decide whether or not you should leave it as is or you should restore it? Now me, I love to take old furniture and restore it to see what it would have looked like when it was brand new. But sometimes that's the wrong approach, especially if the piece is old and valuable. I mean, could you imagine taking an old chair that belonged to Benjamin Franklin and reupholstering it? You would never do that. No matter what condition it was in, you would just leave it alone. I mean, it probably has his DNA on it still. But I often weigh the option of how much I should restore a piece and how much I should just leave it alone. And this architect's chair is a good example of that. It's a good example of what I would call a minimal restoration. For example, the back of the seat has scratches on it where the architect or person sitting there left marks with maybe their belt or pencil or some other object in their pocket. Now this is part of the chair's personality and I don't want to sand that off. Now the seat does have several cracks. There's some other spots that need some repair. I need to make this safe so it's still usable. Then I'll clean up the old finish. I'll decide whether or not I need to put a new finish on. Maybe I'll just wax it. Maybe I won't do anything. But I'll know as I dive into this project. I just want to retain the character of the chair, but make it look a whole lot better. I'm Tom. This is Alley Picked, so stick around. I bought this chair from a friend, and this is how it came. The seat wasn't even attached. When it comes to furniture and plumbers, the last thing you want to see is a crack. I open this one as much as I can and squirt as much glue in it as possible. Let it stay there for a couple of minutes to drip down deep. It may need some coercing with something thin like a pipe cleaner, toothpick, or even some compressed air. You can squirt glue in from both the top and the bottom. Once you have wood glue in the whole length of the crack, it's time to clamp it closed. You shouldn't need any screws to hold it together if you have enough glue. The gap should close up perfectly. I also use a C-clamp in the front to be sure that the two halves butt together evenly. This is the second crack. Again, I'm going to squirt in as much glue as possible on all sides and let it sit for a couple minutes to soak in. I could even water down the glue a little bit if it's too thick. Like most projects, there are dozens of small details that need your attention. Beside the splits, many of the chair edges are chipped and banged up. They're pretty rough to the touch, so I need to smooth those out using some coarse sandpaper. After removing the clamps, the seat repair shows a tiny gap, so I'm going to fill that. I'll use this stainable wood filler and some acrylic paint. This should be invisible after I restain the seat. When you watch these videos, you don't see the mess that I make. I make a mess not just on this table, but the table behind the camera, in the garage, sometimes all over the house. I pull things out and I leave a mess. But the one product that helps me clean it all pretty quick is Super Clean. I like this one here. It's a cleaner and a degreaser. It comes in a spray and an aerosol can. They have lots of different products. You can check them out on Amazon or superclean.com. While the glue is drying on the repairs I did for the seat, I wanted to take a look at this base. The base is in really good condition. It does have a lot of scratches and character, as I said earlier. It also has one crack, minor crack on the ring here. But what I really wanted to show you was the mechanism to raise and lower the seat. It's really quite ingenious. When you rotate this seat, it doesn't move up or down, and that's because of this spring-loaded lever. However, you pull the lever outward, and this releases the shaft. While holding the lever out, the seat can be raised and lowered by rotating clockwise and counterclockwise. What an ingenious mechanism. Now, using my Slip and Shine lubricant available at BigBearNaturals.com, I'm going to brush it on all the metal parts, including the threaded shaft. Now this thing is going to spin way easier and quieter. To mend the crack, it's basically the same method as earlier. Inject glue, clamp it, let it dry for at least a few hours. Just like the seat, these edges are beat up and some are even splintered, so I need to smooth those out with some coarse sandpaper. With all the repairs done, it's now time to clean every square inch of the wood. And to do that, get yourself some gloves, some paint thinner, which I put in these handy squirt bottles, and quadruple zero, very fine steel wool, which I picked up at an estate sale for 50 cents. Let me show you my technique. It's very simple. You simply squirt paint thinner or mineral spirits on some fine steel wool and rub the wood in the direction of the grain. Now as you're doing this, it's inevitable that some of the stain is going to come off. So I'm sure that when all this dries, when the paint thinner is dried after I clean it, I'm going to have to restain everything to get an even color. Now the dirtier it is, the more you're going to have to rub. I even use steel wool on the name badge. This is from the Milwaukee Chair Company, which closed in the mid-1950s, so this chair is at least 70 years old. As it starts to dry, you're going to see this dirty, cloudy film all over it. Have no fear. Get yourself a clean rag. This here, I cut up old towels. The older, the better. They make the best rags. We're going to put some paint thinner on it and wipe this down one more time. After wiping it all down, it still does not look great, but this is where the magic happens. I take some Minwax dark walnut oil-based stain. I don't want a thick coat, so I'm going to thin it down using a little paint thinner. After I apply the stain generously, I take another clean rag, wipe it down, and then let it dry. After about 2 hours of cleaning, sanding, steel wool, staining, here's what it looks like. I think it looks really good. Now, although it does look great, it does need some finish. It needs something to protect it. So I think the best bet is to use maybe 1, possibly 2 coats of a polyurethane. I have a nice warm satin polyurethane that I think is going to be perfect for this project. Now it's time to mount the seat to the base. I know why these two were disconnected. When I went to put the screws in, I found out that one screw was broken off inside of the hole here. So I'm going to have to drill some new pilot holes and then remount the seat. And to do that, I have a bunch of antique screws. Whenever I take something apart that's old, I save the hardware. I put all the screws in this container, so I'm sure I'll find something in here that's appropriate. And there you have it, my refinished, but not too refinished, architect's chair. Just in time, it started raining. I've got to get this in. I'm Tom, this is Allie Picked, and thanks for watching.